A child's behavior is not always what it seems. Behavior of children who have experienced or are experiencing a traumatic event are often misunderstood or misinterpreted. In an effort to provide a trauma-sensitive approach through a culture of safety and support for our students, the Washington County School District endorses the Handle with Care program. The good news? Well, as educators, we can help students who have experienced a traumatic event to succeed in school. And it all starts by simply handling the student with care. There can be a lot under the surface of a child's behavior, sometimes contributing to those aspects that are more obvious. For example, a student may appear angry, but is actually experiencing sadness or anxiety from an incident at home. So what is Handle with Care? This video presents a brief overview of the Handle with Care program. It's shocking but true. 60% of American children are exposed to traumatic events, such as violence, drug use, and other crime. And these experiences can have devastating, long-lasting effects, putting children at risk of future problems such as skipping school, failure to graduate, and trouble with the law. All too often, the cycle of trauma repeats because it goes unrecognized with no intervention, and that's where Handle with Care comes in.
Handle with Care is a simple but effective collaborative model to reduce the effects of trauma on children. We open the lines of communication between the first responders who are there when the trauma occurs and also those who are responsible for the learning of the students in the schools.
Here's an example of how it works. Police or other first responders are dispatched to a potentially traumatizing situation in the community. If a child is present, police identify the child and generate a Handle with Care notice.
The deputy just has to fill out a very simple form with the child's name, their date of birth, and the school they attend, and then just basically hit send on their computer.
And a message is sent to the school or care provider that simply says, Janie Smith, Handle with Care. That's it. To protect the family's privacy, no other details about the student or the incident are sent.
When our staff receives the notice, they just make sure they have a heads up first of all, and they're aware. And then they observe, and they make sure that the student isn't struggling or having any issues.
And that child will show up to school the next day and could be tired, could be combative, whatever the case may be.
If they notice that there are any issues going on, that's when they might intervene and say, hey, would you like to go to the nurse's office, lay down for a little bit, or maybe we could just postpone that project for a while.
The student can then be connected to mental health care and other services.
So what we're trying to do is recognize that discipline is not always the best response to behavior in a child, because behavior in a child could be a form of communication of the need for help.
If we can recognize that that child is just going through that traumatic event and give that child some quiet time and redirect, it's going to change the dynamics between the school and that child, and the child may be more successful in the future.
The Handle with Care model helps create better outcomes for children exposed to trauma.
At its most basic, Handle with Care is about changing the paradigm in communities to really focus on children as the future of the health and wellness of any community.
One of our goals was to catch children who may be falling through the cracks, children that we wouldn't have had our eyes on previously. And what we found, especially at the beginning, was that we're doing just that, and we're able to respond to those children and potentially their families and offer them the services that they need.
We are able to help them process the traumatic experience that they've gone to so that they can continue to be productive not only in the school system but in the community upon adulthood.
There's not that much work to it, and it's working. I mean, it's obviously helping the children.
Each school day morning, staff receives a notification of the names of the identified students from law enforcement or first responders. A Handle with Care notice is then completed. Then, we simply monitor the student for any academic or behavioral changes and determine if the student needs extra support. Continue with your regular classroom or school activities if no additional support is needed. And if additional support is needed, complete a referral to your school-based mental health liaison or school counselor. Knowing what you can do to help this student is as important as knowing what you should not do. Please do not ask the student about the Handle with Care notice or specific events. The child's experience does not change our response or our support. Please do not investigate the nature of the event. Please do not discuss the Handle with Care notification with that student. Please do not share the notification with others. Remember, the privacy of the student and the family must be respected, and those who need to know will receive notification. Creating a trauma-sensitive school environment is something that we as educators can easily do. Creating safe and predictable environments, building supportive relationships with our students, and helping students regulate their emotions benefits all students. The implementation of this program would not be possible without the support and collaboration with community partners, such as the Washington County Sheriff's Office, Chipley Police Department, and Chipley Fire Department. Thank you for your support in handling Washington County students with care.